that is our lowest sales in 2025.
All right, forgive me for all the noise. It's a bright man back here.
I think I want to give the show one more shot. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley, and this is the Lay Spirit Designs Artist Alley vlog at Hauntmare Expo in Fresno. So it is Saturday morning. We went ahead and got set up mostly last night. There's still a couple of things to do this morning, and we're just getting the last bits of everything, the inventory and everything together. So let's head down to the fairgrounds and check out the show.
On my hand.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
All right, forgive me for all the noise. They've got swamp coolers and ambient sound going on, but here is the booth. They do 10 by 10s, which you know that I love because we've got room for our Halloween photo op banner. And this is the 8-foot setup that we have right now. I wanted to do it like we had the 6-foot table at NostalgiaCon where the shelf went all the way across, but I don't have enough grids to do that on an 8-foot table. So this is actually the last time we're gonna see the booth looking like this. I've got some big things in store, which I know that you guys are probably like, Ashley, you literally just did a new booth, but what am I if not topping myself? So we've got all the stickers, and if you watched the NostalgiaCon vlog, you'll know that I used little tiny rubber bands to separate them, and I didn't remove those from last time, so they have kind of broken in between. So some of them were left here, and Ryan put it together, so I didn't get to do it the way I did it last time where I was putting the stickers on and the dividers on as I was building it. So I just kind of placed stuff where they were able to go. But obviously this is the sign that I need to make more die cut stickers and tiny sticker sheets because there's plenty of room. And I have all of the paper sticker sheets up here, all of the deco sticker sheets, and we have the washi tape. We've got our keychains and enamel pins and payment station. We've got this going on, and I'll show you what those stickers look like momentarily. We've got the potions and the boys, and I had an extra spot, so for the first time the community bulletin board is actually where it's like meant to go. I always wanted it to be like within visibility, but it never worked out, so I have a lot of work to do. We've got our mystery B-grade pins, and of course, the sticker books. I don't know if you guys can hear me from here. I'll subtitle it if you can't, but something else that I'm trying out, this is me behind the booth, and it's like way darker than if I'm through the window. So I brought my little lights from my silhouette machines.
early in here. So it is actually 11:30. There's been this whole convention. I'll talk more about this at the very end, which if you guys are new to these videos, that's where I discuss the pros and cons of the event, how the event went, and I also discuss my profits versus expenses. So be sure to stay tuned and check that out. But there's been a lot of either miscommunication or straight up lack of communication with the show this year, which is it's a huge bummer because last year this show was super great for being its first year, but I think they're just working out a lot of their growing pains. But anyway, so it's 11:30. We had seen on the website that the hours for today are 11 to 6. But when we checked in last night, we learned that there's a whole VIP hour that starts at 10, but we didn't see anywhere online that that was even mentioned. So I got here at, I think we got here at like 9:50, and then there was a whole thing trying to get through the front gates as vendors to finish setting up, and we were out there for like 15 minutes waiting for them to let us in. So that was a setback, and it took me until about 10:45 to finish setting up the booth. So you'll have seen in the time lapse where we had left things off, and I just had to put the final odds and ends on the table this morning. So, but I'm really hoping that it's a good day. I know they've done a lot of advertising, and it's not the first weekend after school starts like it was last year, so we'll just see how the day goes.
Other vendors who are in the main room who are saying it's a lot busier in there, but people aren't spending. And I've talked to a lot of people who've made their way into our building, and like nobody seems to know where to go for all the attractions here. There's 4 buildings total, and there's not signage between them to point you in any direction. So there's just a lot of like, I guess, breakdown in communication, not only from like organizers to the vendors, but also just to the event to attendees, which is a huge bummer because I feel like people aren't getting their money's worth if they're not seeing everything. As far as I understand it, there's 2 entire buildings with like dark mazes and stuff, which is super cool. So, but we're really tired. It's been one hell of a day. And it's nice and cool in here. They're using swamp coolers, so it's very humid and I'm a little bit sticky. But anyway, we have another just over an hour before the end of the show, and we're talking about packing up early,
other people still in the building, so I don't know. We'll see what we end up doing. Calling it.
We're gonna go do a spooky maze. Ashley's excited.
Too tired for this.
You are a little. They're not open yet.
I'll cut my hair. Good morning, guys. It is day 2. I hope you can hear me because it's real freaking loud in here. It is just after 11, so the general admission is in. We've actually been here since like 10:30. VIP hour opened at 10, but like there's nobody in this room. So we kind of took our time. I did inventory from yesterday, and we tried to go do one of the scare mazes, but they're not open until 11:45, and I didn't want to leave the booth closed for that long. So we're open now, and I just got some stuff sorted out. So we're gonna see how day 2 treats us. 1:50, 10 till 2. The con ends at 5, but we made the decision, because there's just nothing going on in here, that we're gonna go ahead and break down at 2 o'clock. We did have a little bit of a rush, like the last 30 minutes or so, but compared to the other building, the main building, there's just nobody in here, and it doesn't make sense for us to waste our time the rest of our weekend sitting around when we could be doing literally anything else. So yeah, definitely stay tuned to the end, because I will be discussing the pros and cons of this event, how we did overall, and also breaking down my profits versus expenses, which I will share percentages of. And if you want to see the actual dollar amounts of what I spent to be here and what I made here, check out my YouTube memberships for the $3 tier, or check out my Patreon for the $5 tier, and you can see all of those dollar amounts for this event and any of the past events that I have vlogged. So I will see you guys in the next part. Okay, this might be the fastest I've ever turned around a event vlog. So we're gonna jump right in and do the overview of Hauntmare. So Hauntmare Expo was held at the Fresno Fairgrounds on July 26th and 27th, 2025. The hours were 11 to 6 on Saturday and 11 to 5 on Sunday, with a 1-hour VIP entry at 10 a.m. The event occupied 4 buildings at the fairgrounds, which is one more than they did in their first year last year. And based on my research, ticket costs were $35 per day, or you could do a $60 weekend pass, and they also had VIP weekend passes for about $90 to $95. All the tickets granted you access to everything at the event, including the scare mazes and I guess other events happenings. I think there was laser tag. It's hard to say how many attendees there were over the weekend, since most of the foot traffic was in the main building, but I would estimate somewhere under 5,000 attendees. Honestly, that feels a little bit high. We have our inventory spreadsheet here to give you some Lay Spirit stats for the weekend. I feel like a newscaster. Overall, we sold 107 products over the weekend. That so far is our lowest sales for any event that we've done yet in 2025. Our best-selling items were die-cut stickers. We sold 53 of those. And as usual, our worst-selling items were sticky notes. We sold 3. And our best-selling overall item was our $5 B-grade mystery pins for the very first time. We sold 7 of those. So moving on to pros for this event. This is unfortunately a very short list this year. Obviously, one of the pros is that it's local to me, and as a local, I can say that it's filling a void, because there are lots of spooky-loving people living in Fresno, and this is the only spooky-related event that is hosted in the area. They did a lot of social media promoting, and they did do a segment on the news, and I believe that ran maybe Saturday morning? It could have even been Friday. I'm not entirely sure. I don't watch the news, but I know people saw it on the news. And like last year, to my knowledge, this is like the cheapest 10x10 booth that you can find. And the cons for this con. I was really disappointed on a lot of things based on this year versus last year, and you can go and check out our Hauntmare vlog from year 1. But my number one issue with the event was that all vendor communications were done via social media publicly and not over email like you would expect. And I have a really huge issue with events that do this, because it's a huge security risk when you are sharing all of your information for your vendors, all of your load-in times and all of this stuff, and then there's always going to be a huge miscommunication with various things. And I can talk more about this in the video I do separately for my patrons and my YouTube members, but I had a huge issue with that, and there are events that I have done that I have signed up for that I ended up bailing on because all of their event communications were done over social media. It's just such a huge red flag to me. Another huge problem, which I was really concerned about and came to fruition, was that the attendees had absolutely no idea how big the show actually was. There was no map, there was no signage to direct you from building to building, and when Ryan was walking around in the main building, he saw that most people were just looping and then were like, oh, okay, I guess this is it. And there's 4 buildings total. So that was a huge bummer. We had maybe half of the foot traffic in our building than the main building when I saw. Another con was the cost of admission. $35 doesn't seem like a lot maybe to some people, but for the Fresno area, that's a steep ticket cost. And I think a lot of people would have gone to the show if it was cheaper. Granted, it got you into a lot of things, not only the vendor hall and all of the panels and stuff, it got you into the scare mazes and the like activities, but when you're paying for like a family to go, that's a lot of money, even though I think children 12 and under got in free, but still, everybody who I personally know who was planning on coming to the event decided not to because of the cost of admission. This will make sense if you watched my NostalgiaCon vlog from June, but we were once again plagued by wide aisles, and like it continues to be true that if the aisles between stalls, like the front and like the front of two stalls is too wide, people will not go close enough to the booths to check out what they have. They will stay in the middle of the aisle and like look from a distance, and oftentimes that costs us sales because people aren't seeing, oh, that's something cool that I actually want to buy. So a lot of attendees were just kind of meandering through and window shopping because we were so far apart. And even the main building had like really tight aisles because they use the same layout that everybody uses for that building. And the layout for our building was really strange. Like a couple booths down from us, we had somebody literally in the middle of the aisle set up selling snacks. I don't know if that was part of like the event itself, which seemed kind of strange because they had a bunch of food vendors. But it was just very strange, and the flow of traffic did not make sense at all. I feel like there's more that I'm forgetting, and Ryan will probably correct me as well, but if you've watched literally any of my other vlogs about events in Fresno, you will know that I am sick to death of doing events at the fairgrounds. And I mean, that's really all I have to say about that. So we are gonna go straight into the pie chart, which you can see here. And don't forget, if you wanna see the actual dollar amounts of what I spent to be at this show and the amount of money that I made at this show, you can check out either my Patreon for $5 or more, or you can join my YouTube members for $2.99 to see all of the actual details, all of the actual dollar amounts, and all that good stuff. But let's talk about this pie chart. It doesn't look that bad, but it really, I don't know. We made almost half of what we made last year in the first year, which is wild to me. Usually, the first year of an event isn't going to be like super great. Like you have to get your like, okay, we're new at this wiggles out and just know that it's going to be kind of touch and go. But I would have assumed if I didn't do it last year, I would have assumed this was the first year because of just how poorly everything was handled. But I don't know. Every event that we've done in town so far this year has not been great. But this is our worst one yet, which is really saying something. And you can go back and check out like my anime vlogs or my anime gaming con vlogs from this year and even compare them to what I did in 2024, and it's just night and day. I know the economy is to blame a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world to cause this, but I genuinely believe if we were in the main building, which I requested to be in, this would have been completely different. Anyways, it was almost half and half on card versus cash sales. I did have a nice chunk of Venmo sales. The table cost, I kept thinking it was a certain amount, which I'll talk about in the members only vlog, but I forgot that the returning vendors got a discount. It wasn't a very big discount, but it was still a discount, and you know, it was already a cheap table. So that was nice. Ryan and I didn't eat out a whole lot. In fact, I think Saturday night we ate at home. So there was one, I don't even think I put it in the video because I totally forgot, but we were going to tear down on Sunday and I was like, I'm getting hangry. I need to get something. There was a food truck outside for Korean corn dogs and I went to get us one so that I had food in my belly so I wasn't like a demon while we were breaking down. So that turned out to be a mistake because not only was it the most expensive meal that we paid for 2 corn dogs and a water, it took me like 20 minutes to even get it because they were so busy, and then it was just full sun and it was not great. And then it wasn't even worth the money or the calories. So yeah, we did decent on food with the exception of that. Sales tax and credit card processing fees are what they are. And then Wi-Fi. I don't know what the heck happened. Sometimes when I buy my Wi-Fi for the weekend, I always buy, and I can talk about this in a separate vlog. I've talked about this in other vlogs where I have a portable Wi-Fi brick that I have an app for that you pay for data as you need it. And it's saved my butt at every convention we've done since I bought it. It's great. I highly recommend it. I can link it down in the description box below if you guys are interested. But usually I will buy something really small, and like 1 gigabyte can get me through usually a 2-day event depending on how good the signal is. I've noticed my stuff has been doing this lately where I will buy the 1 gigabyte and it will drain like that. And then I have to buy it again and then it's usually fine. So that happened this time and it drained like that. And then I bought it again and it drained like that. And I had spent basically $20 on Wi-Fi for less than an hour of usage. So then I had to buy a bigger package, which I was like, well, this is gonna last for 30 days if it doesn't expire before then, so I can use it for my August shows if I need to. But I think the problem was that my Square reader needed an update and it kept trying to like pull data to do the update. So I have to just be more careful about that. But yeah, I spent a stupid amount on Wi-Fi for what shouldn't have been. So yeah, it could have been a slightly better pie chart, but it's still really disappointing because I want this show to succeed. I wanted it to succeed last year, and I had such high expectations for this show. And if you do go back and watch the Hauntmare vlog from 2024, Ryan wasn't there because he was on vacation with his uncle in Japan. So I was hyping this up to him. I was like, this show's so cool. I can't wait for you to do it with me next year. Like, you're gonna be really impressed. And he had an issue at every turn, and just it left a really bad taste in his mouth. I will say that on Sunday, one of the main showrunners was coming around and talking to the vendors, and he was speaking to our neighbor, who was really cool. We chatted with him all weekend and he was super cool. And Ryan was kind of chiming in because I was helping customers, and they were talking about issues that they had with the show, and he was at least receptive to some of the feedback that we had. But one of his excuses for why the show isn't doing as well as it could have is because it's the same weekend as San Diego Comic-Con. And honestly, I was a little bit taken aback by that because last year, Midsummer Scream was the same weekend as San Diego Comic-Con, and we almost didn't even notice. We did better than we did the year previous. So I really don't think that that had anything to do with it, but I am hesitant to say this, but I do think I want to give the show one more shot, even though I felt like I was so burned by how it was handled this year. I do think I want to give it one more shot next year, just to see if they can grow from any of this and hopefully make it more accessible and reliable and profitable for their vendors. All right, so I feel like this has been kind of long-winded, but I am gonna go ahead and wrap it up here because there's a lot to do. Midsummer Scream and SAC Anime are weeks away, and I've already kind of teased that I'm going to be revamping the booth, and that plus everything else I have, all of my harebrained ideas that I speak about and then curse myself for dealing with the last second. But all of that has to be taken care of in the next couple of weeks. So it's gonna be really busy around the studio, and I'm excited to bring you guys along. So definitely make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and check out my Patreon and my YouTube memberships if you're interested in seeing more details about this and other events that I've done. So anyway, I will leave you guys here, and I will see you in the next vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!